If your English is slow, if your English is broken, it might be because you are still thinking in your native language and translating it directly to English, which can somehow be exhausting. You need to develop that ability to switch and start thinking in English. And once you do that, things will be much easier. But how do you do it and how do you make that step? And that's why in this video, I'm gonna give you some tips on how to think in English, which is actually the first step towards fluency. But if you think it's gonna be an overnight transition, then I'm sorry. Learning English is a skill, and in order to do that, you are gonna have to be consistent, determined, and continuously putting effort into learning English. So let's get started. The most effective way to learn how to think in English or to start thinking in English is to move into an English speaking country and start speaking with the locals. That way, it's gonna be much easier because English is surrounding you. You're surrounded by English. English is gonna be everywhere, and there's literally no way you can avoid it. But relax, I know and understand that not everyone has the money to move in an English speaking country. That's why I'm gonna teach you how to create an environment that will help you learn how to think in English. You don't even have to leave your home. The easiest and fastest way to learn a language is to surround yourself with the language. So in order to learn how to think in English, you have to surround yourself with English. And how are you gonna do it? First, in order to surround yourself with English, start with your devices settings, your phone settings, your laptop settings, your computer settings. Change the settings into English. Because let's face it, we use them every single day, all the time. Just imagine the amount of English you can learn just by playing with your device's settings. The second way to surround yourself with English is texting in English. So once you change your settings or your phone settings in English, start texting in English. While texting your friends, try using English. When sending a voice note to a friend, start using English. When texting in a family group, start using English. That is also another way that will help you learn how to think in English. The next way you can surround yourself with English is by using sticky notepads. These are sticky notepads, and I use them a lot around the house. But to surround yourself with English using sticky notepads, you can just start by writing reminders on the sticky notepads and sticking them maybe on your fridge or on your kitchen counter or on your drawers. For instance, you can leave a reminder on your sink faucet, ensure the tap is closed properly, or a reminder like only use 1 teaspoon of sugar in your coffee. When you do that, you will be able to surround yourself with English. Every time you go to the kitchen and see those English reminders, it will reprogram your mind to start thinking in English. The third tip that will help you learn how to think in English is listening to English passively. Listening to English podcasts, listening to English movies. Ensure you do that with no subtitles or no translations. Listening to English passively just means listening to English without really having to give a feedback. I'll also advise that when you're choosing something to watch, choose something that you enjoy, something that is fun for you to watch, something that makes you laugh and keeps you interested. And even if you don't understand everything, don't worry about it. Don't feel discouraged because it's perfectly okay. It's actually normal. Just keep on going. You can also watch YouTube videos, YouTube vlogs, YouTube interviews, just anything really, as long as it's in English. One thing I'd also like to emphasize on is that stick to one English accent, because it's a little confusing to learn English when the accents are continuously changing. So get used to one accent first. Another thing that you can do to enter this mindset of thinking in English and stop translating in your head, if you want to say something in English or if you want to think about something in English, just do it already. Even if it's just your inner voice. Don't think of a phrase or the word in your native language, then translate it to English. That's not gonna do anything for you. That's not gonna help. It's only gonna take too much time and too much effort. So just try to think it in English already. Don't worry about making a mistake. Don't worry about pronunciation. Just get used to thinking in English, no matter how incorrect it can be. No one is listening. The next thing is keeping your mind active during the day. Try to name what you see around you in English. Try to describe what you see around you in English. And at the end of the day, try to describe your day in English, what you did during the day, how your day was. Try to describe that in English. You can also have small conversations with yourself. Even if you don't know the exact word, you can try using other phrases or other alternatives. For instance, if you want to say theater, but you can't really think of the word theater, you can use an alternative like a place where we go to see movies. You can always describe it if you can't name it. Also, keep your sentences short and simple. You don't have to use complex sentences. For instance, you can say, today is sunny. it's a good day to go for swimming. Do you want to come with me? Simple and short and clear. Do this every day and consistently, and when you get used to it, add new things. The last tip I want to give you today that also helped me a lot is keeping an English journal. Keeping an English journal is really and very important, where you write your thoughts, your feelings, your goals, your experiences in English. Write on it every single evening. This will really help you internalize the idea of thinking in English. And this is because before you write, you're gonna have to think about it. Doing this consistently will help you massively think in English. Imagine doing that every single day, thinking in English and writing in English. You will be able to think in English without even noticing it. And again, it doesn't happen overnight. It requires consistent practice, determination, and effort. You can think in English. Alright guys, those were my tips. If you have any questions, doubts, or if you just want to share your experience on how you started thinking in English, leave me a comment and I'll be happy to read them. And with that being said, let's catch up in my next video. Bye bye.